Hello and welcome to our virtual HUD tutorial. My name is Oliver and this is what we will create today. With PATTOON we did this virtual HUD animation here and it's done with a few clicks and you can set up your own HUD and it's so easy. So let's get started. First make a new composition, go to composition, new, make it HD or whatever you like. We did it in 2K CinemaScope. Make a black background, make it 10 seconds and hit OK. So the next thing is we need a new solid, string Y on the keyboard, call this HUD. Make a black background, that's important, and hit OK. So you also can do this by layer, new solid. And now bring in your footage. This is our footage, and let's hide that black background layer for now. So this is our footage. So the first thing we did was a simple camera track. So go to tracker and track camera, and this will take a few seconds. So if you're finished, you can see these little tracker markers here. And I want to track this HUD thing on this hard device. So I select a bunch of these tracker points and right click on them and set create null and camera. Okay, so this is what we have. We have a new camera and we have a null. So let's go back to our HUD layer and set up the virtual HUD. So go to Effects and Presets and type in PATTOON and drag that onto your solid. And this is how it starts with a checker pattern. Click on this little thumbnail here and it will open up the bitmap library. Of course you can customize that. I explained that in the in-depth tutorial, but in general you have a HUD folder, and in this HUD folder you have all the HUD elements you need. So simply click on this first element you want to have the HUD on, and this is what you got. Okay, so the first thing is it's tiled. So first we have to change the tile mode from tiled to single, which gives me only the single object here. And as you see, we have some issues with the alpha channel, and this is because of we have to set the blend mode here in the PATTOON from normal to screen, and also in the black solid from normal to screen. Now we can set up our HUD with all the instances in the HUD layer. So select the HUD layer and go to the first PATTOON selected and press string D on the keyboard to duplicate the effect, and click on this little thumbnail, and you can imagine I will use this one, and you can imagine what happens. It applies the second one to my layer, and I make string D on the keyboard. I choose another one, for example the arrow. I like to scale it up, so I use the scaling of PATTOON like so, and I duplicate it one more time. Now I want to choose these audio lines, for example. I leave them here because I like that. I make another instance, string D on the keyboard, and try this one here. So I like that too. I make another instance, string D on the keyboard, and I will rotate that by 90 degrees. So I have two of these things, one left, one right. That looks very cool. I make another instance, string D on the keyboard, and let's try this one, for example. That looks cool. I will scale it a little bit down, like so. And I think you got the idea. So now you have all the element instances on one layer, and you can animate them over time. So for example, you want these elements to rotate, so simply rotate this by hitting the stopwatch and rotate this over time. You also can play with the opacity, so you can make them come in. As you see here, it's 0, and here it starts to fade in. Of course, you can scale them over time, and you can rotate them over time. So this is how you can set up your virtual HUD. And of course, you can give them some colors. For example, this one, I think a perfect color should be some orangish look. So let's grab from here and play with the tint opacity to give him an orange look in. Something like this could be fine. And then I want to have some oranges on these two big arrows. So I go to this one, to this one, and tint that again to here, and tint it to like 100%, and also the first instance here, click on that, grab the color from here, and give him 100%. And of course, I have to do this also with this circle here. So I go to this instance, click on that, grab the texture from here, and the tint opacity to 100. So now I have these elements orangish, and you can play with all of these settings as you like to. So now, if you make this layer a 3D layer, so what this does, because of the camera, it moves with your background footage. So it's easy as that. So right now, it's perfectly tracked to your background footage. You can, of course, rotate that in any direction you like to give him a bit more 3D look in. And you can instant that. For example, string D on a keyboard and make an instance of your HUD layer, and go to the position and offset that over the Z-axis. Something like this. Okay? And then go to your camera settings and switch on depth of field. Okay? And now play with the aperture and with the focal distance to have the focus on this first instance. As you see, it's becoming sharper. Let me hide the second instance and zoom a little bit in to see this is too short, too much. Here we go. Something like that. So now we have that sharp. We can crank up the aperture even more. So now I think it fits perfect. Let me switch back on the second instance. So now you have these two instances, and of course you can do another one. String D on the keyboard and go to position and even put them even further in Z space. And of course you can shrink down the opacity if you like to, hitting T on the keyboard, and bring the opacity to, let's say, 80. And on the second instance, T on the keyboard, bring this to, let's say, 50. Here we go. So now you have your animation nearly done. It stays there and look very cool and very easy to achieve. Okay. You also can set these if you have all animations done to your needs. So you did the rotations, you did all of these things, and you have a perfectly moving HUD. You can select all of these things and put them as a preset to your preset effects and presets folder. And what we forgot was we want to have some glow on that. So bring a glow below. Play with the threshold and copy that string C on the keyboard and copy that to the first instance also. Bring it down. Oh, the wrong one. Bring the glow here. Play with the threshold and intense. Okay, so we're just focusing on the first one, this one here. So bring the radius a little bit up. So this looks quite cool. Threshold a bit down so there's even more glow going on there. Yeah, and switch back on the other two rings. Okay, so now if you're finished, if you're ready to go, select all of these things, bring them over, drag them into your effects and presets, let them go, and you can save them as your own preset, or simply use the HUD preset. This is already here. So let me delete all of these two layers, the first and the second instance, and go to this instance and delete all of these PATTOON settings. Go to frame number 1 and simply type to your effects and presets HUD, and here's the HUD buildup, and drag that onto the HUD layer. And this is what we did in our preview. So here is the HUD element. It's animated, and here is the point where the glow takes place. Here we go, and simply make a copy, string D on a keyboard, go to your position, bring it up to the camera, and you see it will stay, it looks very cool, it's animated, and this is how you can work quite easily with this HUD. If you want to change some HUD elements in the preset, this is no problem. I go to the HUD, delete that, I go to my basic HUD, which is this one, and for example, if you want to change these dotted lines here, you have all of these elements in your stack, and simply click on that. That should make it better, and choose this one, for example, and now you change this with the dots to this new, and you can of course scale it a little bit up so that it fits better to the design, like so. And yeah, you're finished. So this is how easily you can achieve this HUD effect on your footage. You can put that on ice, on whatever. You can place it on special things in your motion picture workflow. And yeah, this is how you can achieve that very easily with PATTOON. Hope you imagine the ideas you can do with that plugin. Hope you like it. Hope you support us. And we see us on the next time. My name is Oliver. Thank you. Bye.